Admittedly, I am quite late to this Arca release here. It is classified as a single, but it is in fact 1 hour in length. Arca out here dropping hour-long singles, really proving that she's one of the most bizarre and interesting figures in music right now. Even if a lot of the work from previous Arca albums hasn't really held up for me, there are a few tracks here and there, especially on the self-titled one, that I thought were really cool. But then just like full projects from Arca just don't really stick with me very well. Like it's cool in terms of like, you know, the sound design and everything about how she crafts her music, but then when you actually think about individual songs, I struggle to really like hone in on actual tracks that stand out. But what Arca's done on this one here, I think is pretty impressive, because somehow we've got the same like, you know, ingredients as to what she was doing on previous releases, but yet it's been elevated into a way that makes the music incredibly enjoyable somehow. There are so many random detours on this thing and instrumental moments that I'm just incredibly in awe of. I think the nature of this album, or this project, whatever you want to say, is baffling. The way some of the beats and the vocals are layered together across this thing, I find so fucking cool. Like when it hits like the 9:17 mark, the vocals are so bloody creepy, and it's just so strange to listen to. Like it's a really bizarre sample, but yeah, it just meshes with the beat almost flawlessly. And then it turns into this horror scene with the laughing. Oh god, it's just so chilling when those laughs come through. And then suddenly it just manages to move on to something new, which is one of my favorite aspects about this whole thing, is that you can just get to the 15-minute mark and suddenly everything is apocalyptic and you just have no idea where it's going to go next. And between that point and the 20-minute mark, it's just absolutely beautiful. It's so serene and glossy. I just don't know how these worlds manage to collide, and yeah, it doesn't sound like, you know, you've got completely two different ideas being joined together and it sounds like out of place. Not when Arca's doing it. Not when Arca is doing it, because somehow she manages to make it make sense, and I can't make sense of it. The Muhir part, like 23 minutes ish, is so cool as well. Honestly, these choppy vocal samples are definitely the best parts of this thing, because even though there are some moments that slow down and get a bit quieter, and they're really nice as well, but like these weird as fuck vocal snippets that are just thrown across this album, I think make this completely fresh and unique. Especially once you get to like the 31-minute-ish mark or 32-minute-ish mark, where you've got these like gunshot beats that are pummeling, and then the vocals are just working their way in and out of like the gunshots. It's really cool. It's like a really nice nicely weaved moment where you've just got this really odd instrumental with vocals that somehow manage to match it. And then the 40-minute-ish mark, where you've got that friggin' like almost hip-hop inspired beat that comes in. Seriously, I could imagine some abstract hip-hop artist rapping over this. I don't really know who would rap over it very well, but I'm sure like Danny Brown would find a way. Like Danny Brown always finds a way. He would do something over this. And then from that point onwards, I just think the rest of it is some of the best of the whole thing. Even though up until this point I think it's been really strong, but like I just find all the beats incredibly detailed and vivid throughout this section of the runtime. It's a really cool point that makes me really excited to see what exactly Arca is going to be doing on the new album coming later in the year, which has some really impressive credits already. Before we've even heard it, we've seen some really cool names feature on this upcoming album. So whatever Arca is already doing here, which already sounds as good as this, I'm definitely interested to see what exactly she's going to do on the next release, because I think you could potentially see whatever's going on here being elevated to a new level once again. Because I feel like Arca does this, actually. I feel like Arca is always transforming, you know? I feel like artists like this are rare. You don't really get artists that are just constantly expanding upon their sound And this is a perfect example of how an artist can really show potential early on and then manage to just blossom in a really odd way. So yeah, in terms of like a rating, I don't even know whether it's worth it because it is classified as a single. Rating a single is a bit silly to me, so I think it is meaty enough though to really classify it as an album if you really wanted to. So I think if I were to rate it, I may as well go with a 7 out of 10. I'm really impressed with this. I don't think anything Arca has done up until this point is anywhere near as good as this. Perhaps I should go back to some of those previous albums though, and maybe there's some kind of like newfound appreciation that I'll discover. But I don't know if it's really as intricate as what's going on here, especially that last stretch. I'm telling you, man, that point of the the fucking album is the coolest point. But yeah, like I say, some of the slower, quieter moments definitely pale in comparison to some of the more eventful moments, which just completely bang and burst, which I am all for. Thank you for watching my review. Hopefully you enjoyed my perspective here. Hopefully you have something to say about this as well. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Have a good day. Subscribe if you haven't already. That would be great. And goodbye. I need to shave. Oh.